half in the bag.
Fuck Batman.
What?
I was just thinking, we haven't seen a movie in a while.
That's right.
The last one we did was Jurassic World. It made $50 billion, ensuring that there'll be many more sequels to come.
I can't wait. Yeah, it's interesting. Deadpool 2 came out.
We didn't see it.
It had a 97% Rotten Tomatoes score. And I was like, you know what? That's probably just as good as the first one. Maybe even better. I bet you that's a really funny film.
And then Ant-Man and the Wasp came out, and that got a very positive Rotten Tomatoes score as well. And I'm sure it was pretty good.
I heard it was good. So
This is a new trend. What we're trying to set up here is that there's this new trend, and maybe it's just us. I don't know. Is this us being cynical?
Perhaps.
But this idea that it used to be you would not go see a movie because the trailer made it look bad, and the new trend is you don't go see a movie because the trailer makes it look fine. That's probably pretty good. I feel like I've seen it.
Well, that's the perfect example, though, is that Ant-Man and the Wasp and Deadpool both had predecessors that were good. So it's not like a movie comes out that has a really high rating and it looks good, but there's no movie before it.
Yeah, no audience, no pre-established audience for it.
Yeah, it's like saying, do you want to watch Deadpool again?
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, I seen Deadpool. It was good.
There's some sequels I'm genuinely excited for, but then there's others where it's like, Ant-Man was fine, Deadpool was pretty good, but in both cases, I don't need more.
Right.
But yeah, so because we haven't seen any movies and have no interest in seeing movies, we're going to talk about Comic-Con trailers.
Yeah, because we just got back from Comic-Con in San Diego. We were there. We had a booth and everything. So if you missed us, so we'll see you next time, I guess, right?
Oh yeah, we'll be back every year.
Yep.
Definitely. We love going to cons.
Here's a photo of us at our booth.
But yeah, these trailers, they kind of are a glimpse into what is going on overall in Hollywood, I think, especially with certain studios or franchises. So we're going to kind of talk about that stuff, I guess.
Yeah, it's interesting, like the San Diego Comic-Con. It's just a big movie advertisement festival.
It's a way to funnel a bunch of people into an auditorium to have them watch your commercial.
I've heard the San Diego Comic-Con described, like in comparison to other conventions, I've heard it described like, what's the word, nightmare?
Oh, okay.
And it was.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It was. I had claustrophobia issues. I started vomiting. I fell down a couple times. I got trampled on the way to the Teen Titans Go trailer release. Someone stepped on my face. I shat my pants. An ambulance came, but it couldn't get to me. So they said, forget him, he's gone. It was really uncomfortable.
See, you shat your pants out of fear, but most of the people that are at that convention, they just do it because they're lazy. Yeah. They just wear adult diapers, so they don't have to get out of their cosplay.
Right. I didn't have a chance to see any of the trailers, so when I got home, I was like, oh my God, 9 trailers came out. Oh, there's a trailer for this, a trailer for that. It's almost like oversaturation.
Yes.
Like release these trailers like sporadically so that each one can get the individual attention it deserves, but when there's 12 at one time, I lost track. I was, this Discovery Season 2 trailer. Oh my God, this came. Oh my God, this. And then so we sat down. We sat on a little love seat together. We turned on all these trailers. We turned the lights down low, and we held hands, and we watched them all and jotted down some notes. And we're going to talk about them today for you, our home audience.
Well, we should point out that we showed all these trailers that we're going to discuss to our friend Rich Evans, who we'd like to introduce you to. He's never been in any of our programs before.
No, I don't think people know who he is.
No, but he's a friend of ours, and we showed him all these trailers so we could gauge his very enthusiastic reaction to them.
So every now and then we'll be showing you some of Rich's reactions to some of the trailers we saw.
Yes. Well, one of the trailers that was premiered at San Diego Comic-Con was for the Clone Wars. Do you remember Star Wars?
I do, sort of.
It's weird. This is this trailer and then the 2 DC movie trailers. I kind of like lump them together in that they're franchises that everybody's kind of done with. everybody's sick of them. They've been turned off by them. So now to release trailers, I can't imagine anyone being hyped anymore. The only people that are still hyped for these franchises are like weirdos. So I don't know anything to say about Clone Wars. I never watched the cartoon, but it looks like they're bringing that character back.
That's Uba Juba.
They're bringing her back.
I forget the character's name. She has got the tentacles on her head. But I think this is, did it say season 7?
I don't know. I don't think, I feel like the show kind of went away for a while, and now they're bringing it back.
It did. It went away, and then they had a show called Star Wars Rebels, I think.
Yeah. Lucasfilm is in full on, how can we salvage this disaster mode?
You got more favorite characters.
Yeah.
As opposed to Rebels, which, I don't know who was in that. There was a bunch of weirdos. But you got favorite characters, you got your Darth Vader, your Yoda, your Obi-Wan Kenobi, your Emperor Palpatine.
I wonder if this is a revival, I wonder if they'll have the same guy do the voice for Emperor Palpatine.
Maybe he's busy.
Maybe he's busy. They should maybe look into getting someone new to do it.
Well, I saw a graphic on the internet of 6 Star Wars related things like coming out in 2019, and I was like, what? Is this fake?
Well, it seems to be, and
I don't know what's going on in the world anymore. I'm elderly.
I feel like they're going to scale it back now after Last Jedi, and then especially after Solo flops.
Why? What's wrong with The Last Jedi? You hate women?
Absolutely, but that movie was obviously very divisive. Because of that, nobody wanted to see Solo.
You think that was a direct result? Wow, this is a shocking opinion.
I think it's related. I'm not saying it's completely it. I think people just don't care about Solo, and that's a big problem, like that movie specifically. But there's definitely a low point in interest for Star Wars, but they just seem to have like no plan, and they're just throwing everything out there. Like Rian Johnson's going to get a trilogy, even though that probably won't happen now, but that, and then Jon Favreau is getting a TV show or another trilogy.
Oh yeah, that was one of the things that was on there.
Yeah, it just like all these things that they just keep throwing out.
You know, it's a good analogy. White trash winning the lottery. Do you know what I mean? Here, white trash. Here's $100 million. Oh, gee whiz!
I'm gonna buy a mansion and a car, and we're gonna.
I'm gonna buy a mansion. I'm gonna give $10 million to my brother Cletus. I'm gonna buy this. You have to pay taxes on that. Oh, you can't do that because you have to maintain upkeep on owning 15 horses, and that costs $100,000 a year for. I went bankrupt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where that level of success was just dumped in the lap of somebody. Kind of like with Marvel, they started with Iron Man.
Yeah.
Slowly built
There's a
it
little
up.
tease for the Avengers at the end of that, but if they never went any further than that movie, it just works as a little tease.
Sure, but
it's fine.
They built up their empire. With Star Wars, they just...
No pun intended.
George Lucas got a check for $4 billion, and he said, "Here, have fun."
Yeah.
He's a smart man. He knows when to make his decisions. He knew when to say, "Hey, let me have those toy rights. You can have distribution, but just give me the toy rights." He knows when to make his moves, and he knew like, you guys take this.
Yeah.
It's done.
He saw the writing on the wall.
For all the heat George Lucas takes, he is a smart man who knows when to move his pieces on the chessboard, and he threw a grenade in their lap. But yeah,
it's not his fault that they took it and just immediately oversaturated it, though.
Well, it's again, my analogy is you have this property that you're drooling.
Yeah.
You're literally drooling.
Think of all the things we can do with this.
How much money?
Theme parks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like someone who lives in a trailer park and is handed $100 million. That person doesn't go, well, I'm going to invest over the next 10 years. I'm just going to buy I'm going to buy like a Prius and move into a 1-bedroom condo. And then I'm going to take my money and, they don't think that way.
Right.
They go, wah! and that's what Disney did.
Yeah.
I'm known for my analogies, Jay. I'm famous for my analogies. Remember this? Take more screenshots of this, you fuckers. Anyways, let's move on. Because
Okay.
I don't want to talk about Star Wars all day. We have to talk about the rest of these boring ass trailers.
Well, let's talk about another franchise that people are sick of, which is the DC Cinematic Universe. We have 2 trailers for movies and 1 trailer for a TV show. I don't think any of them are connected to anything. It seems like DC is kind of like stepping back from the whole cinematic universe thing because it's been a horrible failure.
Permission to come aboard.
First trailer was Aquaman. Everybody's favorite superhero. It's so weird that they're still like I can see them after like Justice League. I think this is probably already in production, which is part of the problem, but because I can see them after Justice League being like, all right, let's just stop. Let's make some standalone movies, but they won't be connected at all. But we still have Jason Momoa playing Aquaman.
My father was a lighthouse keeper. My mother was a queen.
When I first heard the voiceover come in from Jason Momoa, I was like, this doesn't sound that great. It sounds kind of it sounded like a B movie, like a red
Like
box
his
movie.
acting or
his acting? His
okay.
acting isn't the greatest. You know,
Yeah.
he does fine. But then I saw the trailer and I was like, it looks like it could very well be the most expensive movie ever made, which kind of surprised me.
That they're still dumping so much money into these things.
I mean, it looked like Avatar 2. A lot of it was reminiscent of the underwater Gungan cities from The Phantom Menace, but they had like people riding sharks and like laser blasts going off, and I mean, it looked like very, very complex.
Yeah, and the effects didn't look super cheap either.
No, and that was like, I was like, okay, it looked more intricate and more grander in scope than the Justice League film was.
Yes, which
And I
is
was
bizarre.
like, we're putting all your eggs in this basket? I mean, how much did this cost?
I came because I had no choice. I came to save my home.
Another interesting note is that James Wan is directing.
He's the head of the Conjuring Cinematic Universe.
He does a lot of horror stuff, but he's directing this, and I mean, when I say directing, I'm going to put it in quotation marks because I'm going to assume it's similar to Spielberg directing Ready Player One, where James Wan comes on set and says, pats Jason Momoa on the back and says, "Look, this scene you're wet," and you say,
He's in front of a green screen.
"Get him! They went that way."
And then he turns the half day of filming over to 1,000 visual effects artists.
The VFX like supervisor like directs the scene, and the James Wan goes out and has a cigarette.
That reminds me, I finally watched Ready Player One, and I remember you talking about that, how
Yeah.
it feels like Spielberg shot for like 2 days. And I'm watching the movie, and I was like, this is cute, I guess, but visually it's way too busy. And then there was a certain part of the movie where I was like, I kind of like this stuff. And then I realized it was because it was real. It's when he meets up with all of his character friends in the real world, and they're like getting chased in a van. I was like, this feels like a Spielberg movie. Oh, because this is actually real.
This is a Spielberg part.
Because this is a part that he actually shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, similar to the Aquaman movie, where it's just like, it might as well be an animated film.
The war is coming to the surface, and I'm bringing the wrath of the 7 seas with me.
But Mike, how about that plot? Brother is evil and wants to take over the world. Aquaman, you have to stop him.
So Loki comes, or
He's not Loki, Mike.
Aquaman's
This is a
evil.
completely different character, a
Evil.
different story.
I want to say he's coming. What's your plot for Aquaman? We got this whole society that lives under the ocean, and then a bad guy. What does that bad guy want to do? Something clever? Something interesting? No.
Control the world.
He wants to take over the upside. Yeah. It's like the Little Mermaid, where the Little Mermaid wishes she had legs. Mm-hmm. Aquaman wishes, oh, he has legs.
He's fine. He's normal.
Are you saying people with a lower half that's a fish are abnormal, Jay?
Okay. I mean, it's Aquaman.
What's interesting though is that trailer, as of recording this, I think it has like 27 million views or something. Like, it's got a ton of views. But the next trailer we're going to talk about, Shazam, which looks like a far more entertaining movie, has like less than half of that.
AM to the PM, PM to the AM. You have super strength. You just
I'm hoping Shazam is a sleeper hit.
I'm hoping so too, because it looks dumb. I'm gonna say that. It looks entertainingly dumb. It reminds me of like a 90s movie.
Yeah.
Where they have like just the stupidest premise, but they're like, whatever. And they just kind of have fun with it. Like, it looks like that.
I think the reason being for this discrepancy obviously, is your DC fans, I think, for the most part, will probably say, Aquaman looks fucking badass. Because Jason Momoa looks like a wrestler and he's all tatted up. And there's a lot
You're talking about the release the Snyder cut type weirdos?
Yes.
They're weirdos?
You say, well, look at how Aquaman originally looked.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, no, but he's badass now. He looks like a fucking WWE
And then you see that
wrestler.
Shazam suit and it looks like comical.
Yes, and that's the DC fans don't work in that like creative, witty, fun kind of like mindset.
Yeah.
I'm speaking in generalizations, but
Right.
that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
That's more of a Marvel-y type movie. So, yeah, I can see why it has a disparity of views and why it wouldn't appeal to DC fans.
Say, okay. Shazam?
He said the thing. He said the thing.
Maybe it'll cross over. Maybe it'll appeal to a general audience.
Well, that's what DC needs to do, clearly. I think
Yeah.
that's what they're trying to do now.
Tell us more about Shazam.
Well, it's directed by our friend David F. Sandberg,
Yes.
who we've shit on his movies before. I like him though as a person. He seems like he has a YouTube channel. He makes like horror shorts, and they're entertaining. He has like
Yeah.
behind the scenes thing. He seems like a good guy.
He seems like a very nice guy, a good sense of humor about stuff, and we had a bit of a controversy back with Annabelle Creation.
Yes.
With him and a contest.
Well, it wasn't with him. It was with the studio.
Yeah, but he was promoting it. He didn't know. You know, you can't fault him.
Right.
You know, he's like, you got to do this, you got to do that for your movie, and he's probably, oh, okay, sure, yeah. So it's not his fault. Right. We're just going to say that because I think he got a little bit of backlash about that. It's clearly, the villain at the center of this story is the lawyer who wrote that contract for Warner Brothers Pictures, not David F. Sandberg. Leave the guy alone.
Yeah.
He didn't make the contest. But yeah, Lights Out, I think, was a pretty good movie. It was okay. We didn't like Annabelle Creation. And then, I don't know why they picked a horror guy to do this.
David F. Sandberg, it might be a case of like, and this is a growing trend too, which is where you take a director who's made like a smaller budget movie, and they've shown that they're competent. So then you scoop them up and immediately give them a $200 million movie because one, they're not a big enough name established director where they're going to make any waves, cause any problems. They're going to do what you say. But they're clearly competent enough to put a movie together, as they've shown with their little no-budget thing.
Yeah.
It's like your Colin Trevorrow doing Jurassic World, and there's tons of examples.
Yeah, I'm sure David F. Sandberg is the guy you get when you say, here's your script, follow it by the numbers.
Make it.
Make it, and, we don't have to pay you Spielberg's salary.
Yeah.
It's just a job. And it looks like from the trailer, he's done it well. It looks like a
fun.
fun movie.
It looks silly, which is like, I'll take it. At this point, I'll take it.
Yeah. Out of all the trailers that we've watched, it's the one I'm the most interested in.
Sure.
To be honest, because everything else is like, oh God, another like this, another that. And it's like, Shazam, oh, that looks like fun.
Yeah.
The average kid gets powers from space.
Sorry about your window, but you're welcome for not getting robbed. Oh, hey, what's up? I'm a superhero.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like like Aquaman. I keep comparing it to a Marvel movie because it just feels like an attempt to make a Marvel movie, and the Shazam movie feels at least like it has a little bit of a unique kind of angle to it with the idea that he's actually a little kid. Like,
Yeah.
it's completely silly.
Yeah, and it's refreshing to see that goofy costume.
Yes.
Where it's not, the DC, like they knew Shazam was a silly thing, and they're not going to make dark, muted color Shazam, like, oh, Shazam. No one would take it seriously. People would laugh at it, much like another trailer we're going to talk about. But let's transition into the polar opposite of Shazam, which is
the laughing stock of the internet right now, the Titans trailer.
Yes, which is not for a movie, it's for a TV
It's a TV series.
Fuck Batman.
This is like, I mean, clearly with Aquaman and the Shazam movie, it's DC being like, all right, we got to lighten things up. People didn't like the dark, gritty bullshit. We fucked ourselves with Justice League by trying to take a dark, gritty movie and making it not that in reshoots and stuff. But I guess they still haven't learned. One, it looks cheap. It feels like a fan film.
I mean, like, okay, I sat down and I was like, what is Titans? Because I'm elderly. I'm like, what? I'm like, is that Teen Titans Go? Is that cartoon show with Beast Boy and
a currently popular cartoon series?
Yeah, and I was like, oh, what? And then I watch it, and then you said it looks like a fan film. Halfway through, I was like, is this a movie or this looks like a TV show? And then it was like a new series. Oh, TV show. Okay, that makes sense. It looks like the quality of a TV show, but yeah.
Well, it's weird because like up until now, the DC movies have been like super grim, dark, edgy.
Do you bleed?
And the DC-related TV series have been better received. Like there's the Flash TV show, and I know they have a couple other ones. And those, I guess, I've never watched any of them, but I guess those are a little more like lighthearted and fun. And so now they're just doing the inverse of that, where they're trying to make the movies fun and the TV show dark. Why?
Maybe they're just throwing whatever at the wall to see what sticks. Like movies in the theaters are dark and gritty, and maybe they think, oh, that would work better for TV.
Well, that would be a lesson they learned from Marvel then, because the Marvel Netflix TV shows, like your Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, those are darker, and the theatrical movies are a little more lighthearted for the most part.
They're following suit, and that makes sense because the Titan TV show is dark and gritty, and then you got Shazam. See, I think Shazam is their dark horse, is their secret weapon.
Yeah.
Because they got David F. Sandberg, and then they got a bunch of unknown actors. It looks fairly low budget. They spent $12 million on it.
Maybe
they're putting all their money on this one bet, and they're going, "Come on,
see what
spin that roulette wheel."
If it fails, we didn't spend a lot on it.
But if it's a big hit, if it's like everyone thinks it's hilarious, and everyone goes, then they've recouped all their losses for the Justice League movie, for every other film, all on Shazam.
Yeah.
Then David Sandberg gets crowned king of the world by James Cameron. You saved the fucking company.
Oh, the kids are all gonna want to see this.
It's not like they're making entertainment anymore. It's just placing bets on a fucking roulette table.
You hit a home run, DC. You hit a home run.
Well, speaking of tonal shifts, let's talk about the season 2 trailer for Star Trek Discovery.
A secret made of space and time, visible only to those open enough to receive it.
Pike, Spock.
There's that.
They're dredging them up.
Yeah. This opens with nonsensical lines. Those classy, nonsensical, weighty lines. The universe is a place filled with secrets. Something. Blah, 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 blah. I have no idea what you're talking about. Cut to Christopher Pike. Remember me? Remember Spock? And then it's, here's your premise. So then they say 7 glowing red lights in the galaxy mean something. Spock. Somehow they're connected to Spock. And then
What?
cue Lenny Kravitz music.
Just shots of
And
things
just
happening.
A bunch of action. So you really don't get a good sense of what's going to happen, but there is a notable insertion of more levity.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Excuse me. Linus, you okay? You look a little...
Well, I was gonna say there's like a tag at the end after they show the logo.
Yeah.
With them all like in an elevator, and for a second I thought I was watching an ad for the Orville.
Bless you.
It's like, is this the Orville or is this Star Trek?
Right. It's a creature sneezes on somebody. And
Yeah,
looks
it's just like an awkward thing in an elevator.
Yeah, but
like,
throughout the show, like they had some bit where there were two like female helmsmen. They're like, "Come on, ladies, get it together," and they're like, "Woo, sorry."
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh dear.
And then the one girl, Tilly, yells, "Science! Science is great, bitches!" She yells. Oh, what is she? I wrote it down.
oh, I think she yelled, "Fuck Batman."
You. She yells. Oh, I didn't write it down.
Oh.
This is the power of math, people!
You know, it's like the first season went through the ringer. It went through the ringer of market research. Fans said it's a little too dark. Took itself a little too seriously. Fans like the Orville more. Let's have a scene in a
How do we
turbo.
make Star Trek more like the Orville,
Right.
a show that is ripping off Star Trek?
Yeah, so let's have a creature in an elevator sneeze and fart. And let's have a couple of funny lines. Let's
Yeah.
lighten it up with the music. So it's like, hey, we're doing the Star Trek thing. Remember those weighty lines in the beginning? Space is a place of dark secrets and mysteries. I want to get away. Science is awesome, you fuckers. I want to fly away. We're fun, but we're serious.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fun, but it's serious.
Why are pop songs such a part of the Star Trek universe now?
Because times have changed, my friend.
I guess.
Did they ever just explore anything?
Well, we got Godzilla, King of the Monsters. This is a life-size prop of Godzilla.
What is the scale ratio to that?
Like, how big is a human compared to this?
No, you know when you buy a model kit?
Oh,
it shows the
yeah.
scale?
This is 1-to-1.
Oh.
They just use trick photography to make him
It's
look
one
much
to-
bigger. I don't like the color palette of this film, but I think the movie itself looks good. I like Michael Dougherty, the director of it. He did a half in the bag favorite, Krampus.
Krampus
a few
was
years
the
ago.
bomb.
Krampus is great. I love Trick or Treat, the movie he did before that. This one actually has some monsters in it, unlike the last Godzilla movie, where Godzilla was in it for 5 seconds on a TV screen.
I went to see it for Bryan Cranston.
They got rid of him immediately.
Then he got stepped on
Yeah.
by Godzilla. Now, Jay, let's talk about canon and universes. So we had Godzilla. Well, let's take it back a little. I mean, you had your the Shoji Tabuchi Godzillas from way back in the day.
Yes.
Is that what they're called? Shoujo?
Toho.
Shoji Tabuchi Godzillas.
Yes.
From back in the day.
There's somewhat recently there was Shin Godzilla, but that's not an American one.
Okay, but then you have Godzilla with Bryan Cranston.
Yes.
And then now we have Godzilla King of Monsters, which is not a sequel to the Bryan Cranston one?
It is technically. I don't think it's going to have much of a connection to it, but it is supposed to be in the same sort of timeline as that.
Okay.
Which is also in the same universe as Kong Skull Island.
Okay.
Which is why they made Kong so much bigger in that movie than he's ever been in any other iteration, because they need to make him large enough to fight Godzilla in the eventual team-up movie, because that's how movies exist now.
Yes. Because there is a movie coming up called Godzilla versus King Kong.
Well, it won't be called that, but whatever it's called.
Yeah.
It's directed by Adam Wingard.
Yes, and so that's in that universe.
Yes.
Okay, I'm following. My question is if this Godzilla King of the Monsters tanks, how will that affect Godzilla versus Kong?
Well, it'll be a DC situation where that movie's already in production, so you can't slow the train down now.
Yeah. And that's something I want to just mention real quick. I'm not a huge Godzilla person. It's just something that doesn't entirely interest me.
Yeah, my interest in this one is more based on the director than any sort of attachment to the Godzilla franchise. So
Okay.
we'll see.
Okay.
He's got to get this out of the way so we can finally make Trick or Treat 2. He's been talking about that shit for like a decade.
Get to it.
God damn it.
Don't do these big cash grab movies.
Do a low budget movie that won't make any money.
Do it for Jay.
Why won't anyone think of me?
What a sellout. Make Trick or Treat 2 for Jay. He'll do a Kickstarter for $150. Come on now. Our last film is called Glass. This is
The headline, if the movie's bad, the headlines already write themselves. You just take out the G. This movie, take out the G and the L. This movie's ass.
No, Jay. This movie will do well, and the headlines will be Glass shatters box office records.
There you go.
They're already printed. Listen.
The movie already came out. It was okay.
I specialize in those individuals who believe they are superheroes.
No, I mean, this is, unless I can't really see this movie just like flopping. It's got such a great foundation already. Unbreakable and Split.
Yes, it's weird.
It's an odd concept, which is fascinating to me because it's so different. Unbreakable, right? Interesting concept.
One of my favorite M. Night Shyamalan movies.
Yeah.
I like that movie a lot.
A realistic take on superheroes, right? Mm-hmm. And then 40 years go by, and then he comes out with a movie called Split, and M. Night Shyamalan is known for his twist endings, and his last 8 films were crap, with the exception of escaped elderly insane asylum patients posing as someone's grandparents, which was mildly interesting.
No. It did feature a scene where an elderly man shoves his used diaper into a kid's face. So.
Yeah. There's some fun moments. That was like an exploitation film.
Oh yeah, it was goofy.
But then Split comes out, and you're like, oh, okay, split personality, I get it. James Professor X is a great actor. And he does great voices, and he can do these great characters. And he's got a split personality. He's going to be scary, and then, oh my God, it's in the Bruce Willis Unbreakable universe.
Yeah. Well, even before that, because that's not really a twist of the story. That's just like a tag at the end. But even before that, the idea, you go into the movie like, oh, he's got split personalities. He's going to be creepy and weird. But then you realize, like, depending on what personality he's in, he can like physically change his body. Like, it gets really bizarre.
And that's acceptable in the logic of like a horror movie, and I was okay with that. But the twist really was.
But then Bruce Willis shows up at the end, and if you went in not knowing that was going to happen, it's like, holy fuck! Like, Shyamalan actually pulled something interesting off again.
Yeah, he pulled a twist off again.
Yeah,
which was unexpected, ironically.
Right.
Then this trailer is like, okay, they got Sam Jackson back, they got Bruce Willis, James. I want to say Mangold, but that's a director.
That is a director.
I want to say maraschino, as in the cherry, to reference Grease. Glass, Grease, Godzilla.
Sure.
James McAvoy.
You did it.
He's in there too. And then you have Sarah Paulson's in it, and she's like a therapist, and she's like, I specialize in
fucking weirdos.
Weirdos who think they're superheroes.
Yeah.
So it has the danger, like obviously, like it tells you what's going to happen in the film. Glass recruits James.
You just said it.
McAvoy. James McAvoy as his villain. Like the villains team up, and Bruce Willis has got to stop him because he's the Superman-esque character.
But they're all being suppressed by the fact that they're apparently in some sort of institute, which is kind of interesting.
So it has the potential of kind of getting conventional in terms of the plotting, but
the nice thing is, based on the trailer, I'm not exactly sure what the plot is. Like, you know that Sam Jackson and James McAvoy are going to team up, but you
Sam
don't really
Jackson
know much
is
more
going to
than
have
that.
he's going to have a bad guy plan, I presume.
But I mean, knowing Shyamalan, like now that he's kind of having a little renaissance and actually surprising people and making decent movies again, like who knows? Maybe he'll go in a different weird direction.
Yeah.
But
maybe he'll bring in the elderly couple.
the end of the movie will be the elderly man showing up and just shoving diapers in everyone's face. That's his supervillain power. They call him the fecalator. And unlike the Godzilla trailer, I liked the color palette of this movie. There's lots of like purples and greens that kind of tie in with the different characters. Each one kind of has their own color.
With this talk of color palettes? Who are you, Bob Ross? Just shut up.
I liked all the happy little trees.
You're pretentious and nonsense.
I don't know if you realized it, but the visuals are a big part of a motion picture.
No, it's all about the explosions.
Oh.
Last name. Glass.
Is that a Godzilla that has the little wheels that when you roll them around, sparks come out of his mouth?
No.
They don't make those kind of toys anymore, do
No. Although he does, like his back comes off.
they? Why?
I don't know. This back part comes out.
It must be interchangeable with other backs.
Either that or does he shoot water out of his mouth or something? Like maybe if you fill him up with water and you squeeze him?
This is like me trying to figure out the Millennium Falcon.
Hey, I got this off immediately though.
That's true. Let me see. Let me investigate this. Maybe you're supposed to hide drugs in him. Can I keep this?
Oh, sure. Hey, where are you going?
My name is Cade. I have an identical twin brother. Then one day it all changed. The pure majesty of nature.
Programmable virtual reality.
I miss my brother. I'm with you. Who am I? What am I?
It's a killer with unidentifiable DNA?
He has to be self-aware at this point. He has to be. This feels like somebody doing a Neil Breen parody more than an actual Neil Breen film.
I'll be right here.
All right, it's over.